Hello, heroines and heroic sacrifices. My name is TV Skyn, and welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV, where one of our beloved companions have died, which means that now it is time that we enter our dark and edgy phase with leather jackets and deep emotional suffering and a weapon that's on fire and stuff. Yeah. But other than that, we're just going to play some more Final Fantasy XIV, where we have begun a new patch, and apparently I am something like 16 quests away from actually finishing A Realm Reborn and finally getting to Heavensward, which has been the goal for the past long while.
Have you a moment, Brick? I believe Ida wished to word with you. I should consider it a personal favor if you would lend a sympathetic ear to her troubles. She has not been herself since Moonbreeder's passing, and my heart aches to see her so downcast. Hey, it's Brick! Great! Oh, it's no use. I'm trying to stay positive, but it's just hard, you know? The thing is, I know Mom would tell me off if she saw me moping around like this. Which is why I decided to cheer myself up by getting her a special flower. I placed an order for a moon daisy with Rowena a little while ago, and it's ready to be picked up. The trouble is, I find Rowena a little bit difficult at the best of times, and, well, this isn't one of them. I know it's silly, but I just can't face it at the moment, so I was wondering, do you think you could maybe collect it for me? I have the coin to pay for the flower right here. Thank you so much. I'll be waiting for you and the daisy at Ratherfrost.
And so we embark on our first dark and edgy quest to get a nice flower to put on the grave of a dear friend. There's always dancing on tables out here. It's quite nice. And also on top of the fireplace. I know I say it every single stream, but it never fails to just make me happy to see people hanging around and being silly. It's really, really enjoyable. All these people hurting Skyn's load times. Yeah, there's also that. So, hello. I heard that you were really difficult and annoying to deal with, so I came to do it for her.
What can I do for you today, adventurer? Eldritch trinket trade? They've got you running errands now. Them scions really know how to make the most of your talents, don't they? Sending the savior of yours here to the bleeding market. Fine use of your time, that is. Seriously, though, you best learn how to say no, or they'll have you mucking out the chocobo stables next. Anyway, what was it you were here to pick up? The moon daisy, was it? Here, then take it. Until that Edel lasts, I've got a wide selection of headwear in stock if she ever decides to replace that dowdy old mask of hers. God knows she needs to.
Didn't seem that difficult to me. But chat is, chat seems to have a different opinion on the good lady. Well, okay.
Rowena can be so annoying. She will just not take no for an answer. Every time I visit her, she insists I replace my visor with something more fashionable. And when I tell her I could just find the way she is, she says again and again and again and again. It drives me crazy. What I mean to say is, I really appreciate you doing this for me. So, anyway, let's see it. Moonbreed will love these things, you know. I hope that somewhere, somehow, she knows I'm still thinking of her.
I'll never forget you, Moon. None of us will.
The song riseth to a crescendo.
Is that good?
What I think it is?
Hello, can you hear me? We have received grave tidings from Ishgard. Pray return to the Rising Stones at once.
I hate Final Fantasy XIV because I have all these things that seem like obvious facts people know, and then I will roll into a new player's stream and someone goes, "Did you know Rowena legally owns all her what? She owns her staff?" That seemed like in a slavery kind of way. Oh dear. The PC were okay, so indentured servitude. Yeah. Ooh, that's really nice. Yellow. Yellow is like a color, I feel like I don't see it around a lot in outfits. Like, unless people are doing like a chocobo thing, like Yesunde over here is doing. Yellow is like a relatively rare primary color to organize an outfit around. That's quite nice. Again, works with the hair. Like, imagine if, like, I think you could get away with a bright red hair color here as well. It would be a little ostentatious, but you kind of could. But it works really well with, like, that sort of strawberry blonde. That's really nice. That's really well composed. That's well put together. Cool.
My apologies for the interruption. I was deeply saddened to learn of Moonbreeder's passing. Her loss will be sorely felt. Alas, recent development in Ishgard leave us little time to mourn. The envoy from Kerthus will soon arrive, and we must hasten to hear her report. The envoy is here.
Bet I know who. Yeah.
I thank you for receiving me at such short notice. Time is of the essence, so I would forego the usual pleasantries if I may. Certainly. You come with news of the Dravanians? Aye. The dragons have begun their attack in earnest. The first wave reached the Central Highlands a short while ago, and battle was joined soon thereafter. Sir Emmerich himself sallied forth with a contingent of temple knights and several companies of the noble house's finest. Though the beasts were ultimately forced into retreat, our victory, if such it may be called, came at the cost of many of our own. Too many. We will not withstand a second wave should the Dravanians renew their assault. You paint a grim picture, my lady. Is it reinforcements you seek, then? We do. Though it pricks our pride, it is plain we cannot protect Ishgard with our ranks thus thinned by the Horde. Sir Emmerich would meet with you to discuss the possibility of enlisting your aid. Very well. I shall depart for Kerthus at once. I must warn you, however, that the involvement of the Crystal Braves is by no means assured. Our commitment to quelling the unrest in Ul'dah must take precedence. It is with such contingencies in mind that I must make another request. The Scions of the Seventh Dawn are known for sharing close ties with all three grand companies of Eorzea. Would you consent to plead our case to their leaders? Though I will gladly appeal to the grand companies on your behalf, I dare not promise a favorable reply. You need say no more. Considering our past dealings with the Eorzean Alliance, I can well imagine how our plea will be received. But the fate of Ishgard hangs in the balance. We must explore every avenue still open to us, no matter how unpromising. I see. Very well. I shall send envoys to each of the allied nations and have them present your request directly to the heads of the grand companies. In the event your plea does receive a favorable answer, know that any support is certain to be conditional. Demands will be made of Ishgard. That is only to be expected. Rest assured that I speak Sir Emmerich's authority in this matter, and that our actions are fully sanctioned by the Holy See. Which brings me to my final request, a personal appeal to you, Warrior of Light. The Lord Commander much desires to speak with you, regardless of your fellow's involvement. You faced Midgard's Ormr and survived. Anything you can share of your experience may yield us an advantage over our foe. Thank you. You wear the mantle of hero well.
Also, this snazzy leather jacket.
'Twould seem the roads lead us both to Camp Dragonhead. Seek me out when you arrive, Brick.
ostentatious organ music. Hey, you look familiar.
The sons must answer for their father's misdeeds.
Can't believe you're finally
Only
on the
then
last
will the
few
cycle
patch
be broken.
quests. My favorite 14 reactor by far.
Thank you for that resubscription, Cappuccino. And hey, my text-to-speech finally works properly for resubscriptions. Yay! Petra Alexandra, she's not thick. Just... no, she's not thick.
Brothers and sisters of the heavens, we raise our voices and join you in the chorus.
Essentially, no one in Final Fantasy XIV is thick. Like, maybe a Hrothgar or two, but...
The sinner's feeble magics are undone. Come, claim your retribution.
That's probably fine, right? Now, winter outfit. Gonna go make it. I've already put it together. So now I just need to throw a die on it or two, and then we should be good. I think that's a Jinx cosplay. And under the circumstances... managed quite well, actually. Okay, glamour plates. So, mittens. Definitely mittens. And boots. Yes, yes, yes. And then just need to get the rest of the brightening up a little bit. Yes, there we go. Now... ha-ha! I am ready for the winters of Ishgard.
It seems I was the swifter brick.
Well, yeah, I had to stop over for a fashion makeover, but, you know.
You two, however, have arrived in time with time to spare, for our host has yet to make an appearance. The murmurings about camp tell of some manner of trouble at the Gates of Judgment. In the Lord Commander's absence, I suggest we visit the place and find out what is afoot.
It's probably nothing. It's just some logistics, like a guy forgot to sign some paperwork and now they have to have a review or something. It's not like there's anything serious happening. Bothered Bowman.
The Gates of Judgment are more than mere doors. They're the outmost layers of Ishgard's magical wards. If our first line of defense can be so easily shattered. When I laid eyes upon Lady Iceheart, I felt the marrow freeze within my bones.
Dyspeptic Dragoon.
Heretics, come! How dare they meddle with our divine protections? I shall rid our nation of their blasphemy, even if it means cutting them down one by one! We need not fret overmuch. There are several yet layers of arcane protection that shield the city from invasion. Mother will be fine.
Oh, Lord! Oh, look at this little group. 2 goboos and a giant hamster. One tells only the truth, the other tells only lies, and one of them is just so cute and adorable.
'Twould seem the heretic struck first, and most telling, a blow against Isgard.
Scions, we expected you at Camp Dragonhead.
My apologies. We chanced to hear that there'd been trouble at the gates and thought it prudent to investigate the cause.
Then you have learned of the heretic's treachery. Lady Iceheart led a force of her followers against our defenders and came close enough to dispel the first of our wards. But let us speak of this more back at the camp. Sir Emmerich awaits you. Awaits you, rather. Huh. My accent coming through there.
Lady Iceheart has grown bold indeed if she would risk direct action against the city. Come, let us do what we bid and return to Camp Dragonhead. Lord Horshavan will know where Sir Emmerich means to receive us.
Okay, well, back to the camp.
Ah, 'tis reassuring indeed to behold the countenance of a friend when one's homeland teeters on the very brink of disaster.
Though perhaps a single misstep could send us plunging into the abyss, your heroic presence stokes the flames of courage in my heart. Ah, but you did not come to Dragonhead to listen to my prattling. The Lord Commander has arrived and would treat with you in the intercessory. I do enjoy the visual of everyone else being armored up and super serious, especially Emmerich, and then me. In my cozy cable knit sweater and my little fuzzy boots.
Greetings, sir. Shall I show you inside?
Well, since we have the opportunity. What, I can't jump on this table? The hell? Closer look at Emmerich. Fancy lad indeed. I thank you for coming with such haste, and apologize for my absence. Suffice it to say, Lady Iceheart and her heretics have much to answer for.
Yes, we are but recently returned from the Gates of Judgment ourselves. Given the circumstances, we quite understand if you'd prefer to postpone our appointed audience.
On the contrary, Master Alvina, I think it more important than ever that this meeting take place. Rest assured, I shall return to my post in Ishgard's walls the moment our business is concluded. Before we move on to the subject of reinforcements, however, I would introduce you to a close friend and stalwart ally, Estinian. Y'all look like a dragoon to me. Yep, that's a dragoon. May I present you Ishgard's Assured Dragoon?
An impressive title, though I confess I know precious little of the Order of Dragoons.
They are formidable warriors all, and yet, even among such masters of the lance, Estinian is without equal. He, out of all the warriors of Ishgard, was chosen to wield the power of the dragons, and may thus contend with any Dravanian. You flatter me overmuch, Commander. So, you're the adventurer of whom they spoke. I see now why my blood fair sang in anticipation of our meeting. Well, now that we've all been introduced, let us proceed to the matter at hand. I would share with you what we have learned of Iceheart's design, as confessed by the heretics taken captive after the assault on the gates. It would seem that Lady Iceheart and the Dravanians share a common goal, the reclamation of Nidhogg's stolen eye. So, Nidhogg, or Nidhogg in Danish, is yet another figure out of Norse mythology. Specifically, it is a serpent or a worm that gnaws on the roots.
Finally, we have met the 4 core spouses: Armeric, Estinian, Horsefant, and Eastracher.
Which gnaws on the roots of Yggdrasil, constantly sort of trying to chew the roots of the world tree to pieces.
Nidhogg, one of the 7 great worms. His name features prominently in your nation's history. Though once defeated by the hero Haldrath, the beast is said to have terrorized Caerthus since Ishgard's founding. Aye, many other scars our walls bear from Nidhogg's relentless efforts to raise the city. The trophy Haldrath plucked from the bested worm's skull, known simply as the Eye, is a treasured relic of Ishgard and one possessed of untold power. Should it ever be returned to Nidhogg, the dread creature would be restored to the height of his strength. Then, no wall or ward we could erect would be stout enough to deny him.
My vengeful son had waged war against Ishgard for 1,000 years. No mortal mind could comprehend the depths of his rancor.
The Eye itself is secreted deep within the vault. It is kept under heavy guard, surrounded at all times by men and women who have proven their loyalty to the Holy See. But those stout walls and sharp blades may suffice to discourage the heretics. The dragons are another matter. There are individuals within the Dravanian horde whom an entire company of knights would labor to repel, to say nothing of Nidhogg himself.
Nor does age rob them of their strength. Though the endless march of years, the dragons endure, patient, calculating, inexorable. You must understand, these creatures do not share our perception of time. And that is especially true of the great worms, they who spend centuries in slumber, only to wake and resume their campaign as if mere hours had passed.
It has been 20 years since Nidhogg last darkened our skies. 20 years just for him to gather his strength and for us to bolster our defenses. And now, just as he seems primed to return, the heretics strike at the gates. You believe that Lady Iceheart is in league with the creature, then? Of that we cannot be certain. Though we know the heretics covet the Eye, we've been unable to determine their plans for it. Such questions aside, we must needs address the ragged hole in their mistress as seen fit to rend in Ishgard's protections. 'Tis a weakness the Dravanians are not like to leave untested. So it would seem. You've described your plight in admirable detail, Lord Commander, yet I cannot help but wonder at your candor. Why share such sensitive information with us? I shall speak plain. Ishgard has need of allies, and I would have you bolster our front lines in readiness for the coming battle against the dragons. This much I expected. Unlike our arrangement concerning the Keeper of the Lake, however, only you stand to benefit from our assistance in this matter. I fail to see why we should intervene in a conflict which concerns only Ishgard and Dravania. When the Eorzean Alliance requested Ishgard's assistance during Operation Archon, you refused us. Does it not seem grossly unjust to demand that we now risk our lives in your private war? I make no attempt to defend my country's conduct. I only ask that you consider what would follow were Ishgard to fall. Having razed our city to the ground, the Horde would have little cause to linger, and most would return to their lairs in Dravania. Soon thereafter, the ruins of Caerthus would be buried in snow, and the land would become the sole province of beasts and beastmen. Until the Gallians' arrival, that is. For you may be certain that the Empire would not hesitate to claim Caerthus. They would not even have to draw steel. An Imperial province sharing a border with Mordona. Oh, 7 hells. Very well, we shall assist you in the repelling of the dragons. The roar of the great worm may have shaken the firmament, but we of Eorzea will not abandon our Ishgardian brothers to face the coming horde alone.
Quick turn there, Alphino.
Nor did I ever think you would. Now, upon the matter of the roar.
Allow me, Sir Emmerich. Through the power of the Eye, I have become the vessel of Nidhogg's strength. His essence has stolen into my very blood. Fear not, I am in full control of my faculties, I assure you, and the Eye itself is of no relevance to this tale. It is not essential that I bear it with me wheresoever I go. Its lingering influence does, however, allow me to hear Nidhogg's voice.
Then the worm who roared
Was Nidhogg. Aye. He means to hurl his horde against Danafin's collar and shatter the remaining wards that protect the city. There can be no doubt, the worm has summoned his minions to war.
Honestly, Square, you could have paid for the voice actors to do that. That was a lot. Though the circumstances are far from ideal, this desperate endeavor will at least provide us an opportunity to bring the sister states of Eorzea together in a common cause. Sir Emmerich was more ruthless in his negotiations than I anticipated. I suppose one must give no quarter when one's home is at stake. But did you see the look on his face when he formally requested our assistance? Though the Lord Commander has long campaigned for Ishgard to open its gate to outsiders, I suspect this softening of the Holy See's attitude towards foreign cooperation comes as something of a bittersweet victory. The days ahead promise to be interesting indeed.
Bum 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 ba. Okay.
If we are to aid the Ishgardians in this war of theirs, preparations will have to be made, and soon. Before proceeding, however, we must needs return to the Rising Stones and make a report to the antecedent.
Pray return to the Rising Stones. Well, let's just have a little NPC chat to see if these guys have anything new to say. Nidhogg, he is the cause of our suffering. If we do not fell the worm, these endless clashes count for naught.
I am painfully aware of the hypocrisy of our request, and the self-inflicted nature of our predicament. But it should serve to deliver my people from their unkind fate. Gladly shall I bow my head and beg for aid. I expect, nay, welcome, the coming storm of scorn and disdain.
To Revenant's Terror.
Yeah, I hear that Orchiffon was very, very horny in the Japanese version. I can understand why they would tone it down. It's like, that kind of shit can be kind of uncomfortable and rather needless. But also, you know, it would have been funny. It would have been funny to me anyway.
Alphino, it is good to see you. Tell me, what have you learned?
Oh, thank God I don't have to voice act this part.
Pray summon the others. Everyone must hear my report.
So this was all but a taste of what's to come.
Indeed. The main host advances upon Ishgard as we speak.
Whose vaunted defenses have been nullified.
Shorn of its walls, the city will bear the full force of Nidhogg's fury.
All those people.
Alphino is right. The Dravanians cannot be allowed to prevail. If Ishgard falls, all of Eorzea will suffer the consequences.
Then you agree that we have no choice but to intervene. For the good of the realm, the Scions of the Seventh Dawn and the Crystal Braves must join the defense of Ishgard.
Let there be no ambiguity about what has been proposed. We would be directly intervening in the war. But if all here believe the cause to be just, then to war we shall go. The path we now embark upon is perilous, but I pray you will walk with us to the end. For those we have lost, for those we can yet save.
Then it is settled. I shall inform the Council of our intentions and request that they contribute their own forces to the defense of Ishgard.
Hey, it's Mr. Trustworthy and his trustworthy friend.
I have bid the Archons travel to their assigned nations. Should the members of the Alliance agree to pledge Grand Company soldiers to Ishgard's cause, our comrades will be on hand to act as intermediaries for the direction of the conflict.
What duration of the conflict, rather?
The small matter of persuading the Alliance leaders to grant such support I leave to Alphino. For you, my friend, a different task awaits. I would have to reach out to your fellow adventurers and gather what allies you can for the coming siege. I would also have you consider the matter of our own security. Revenant's Toll is but a short flight from the snowfields of Kyrthus. It is not unimaginable that the fighting may spill across the border. Pray, brief Slaffborn on the brewing conflict and discuss potential contingencies. The frontier settlers must be prepared for aught that might wing its way over our walls. I only hope that such precautions prove unnecessary. Before you leave, might I suggest that you have Tataru accompany you? She has a talent for administration and a firm grasp of the practical challenges we may encounter.
Chad is being very cryptic about Ilberd right now. And horny. Also horny. Very horny. Although, that's nothing out of the usual.
We are rather close to Kyrthus, aren't we? We'd best see to our own defenses and take stock of our supplies. Oh, and we'll also need to have beds and bandages laid out just in case. A good receptionist is ready for any eventuality.
Like warfare? Okay.
Let's go, Brick. I have 101 things to discuss with Slothborn.
I was just about to ask, when is chat not horny? Never. Essentially never. Well, sometimes they're sad, and then they're not very horny. But most of the time, yeah. Oh, good lord, what's happening? A rebel coat. Anytime, little video game. There we are. Ooh, oh shit. Oh, that's rad. That looks fucking badass. Damn. That is a cool coat. Thank you. That is really cool. But I just wanted to look at this character because as I've said it a million times, but I have a weakness for the simple. I have a weakness for the simple designs, like the ones that aren't like all fancy. Like fancy fantasy is cool, absolutely, but like when it's just like kind of what looks like a simple traveling outfit, and then with the most elaborate extra motherfucking axe on the back. It always tickles me. It always kind of works for me.
I appreciate the warning. If war's coming to Kyrthus, then the toll must be made ready. I'll increase the number of patrols and lookouts immediately. I'll also see about finding room for an infirmary, as well as temporary housing for the victims of the conflict. Ishgard has done well by us in the past, and I will return the favor. But as for rounding up volunteers for the fighting itself, I'm afraid I must disappoint you. I'll not send any of my fellow guild members to die on Ishgardian soil, and I'm certain headquarters will see the same. There'll be no official Adventurers Guild presence as this siege. That said, each adventurer is of course free to do as he or she will. I shall have a word with some of my more capable colleagues on your behalf. And you might try your luck here in Revenant's Toll. I dare say there are a few stout souls about town who'll answer your call to arms.
Let's get started, shall we? We have a town to rouse.
Hi, do you want to die fighting some dragons?
Spare me your talk of glory and fame. I'm not in the habit of volunteering for lost causes. I've survived this long by trusting my instincts, and my instincts tell me to stay well away from Ishgard.
Okay, maybe my pitch wasn't super great, admittedly. Oh no, the money I have didn't come from my editor. It's one of my friends who has played an obscene amount of Final Fantasy XIV. Just rolled, like, I was playing and they just like messaged me and rolled up and gave me 4 million gil. So that's how I have that money. Wishguard sounds like she's in the right mess, but that ain't what I wanted to talk to you about. I need you to cast your mind back to that scuffle with the Empire out by the processing plant. A lad from Little Alamigo by the name of Wildret was there with the Fourth that day, and I want to know if you've seen him since, have you? Ah, God damn it, I feared as much. No one's bloody seen him. It's like the ground opened up and swallowed him whole. Well, that ain't all. Around the time Wildret stopped turning up for duty, them black market weapons went missing from our vault in Ul'dah. So now, of course, half of the Braves suspect the lad of making off with the goods. Folk like to believe our company's a disciplined fighting force, but as you and me both know, it's no more than a motley collection of mercenaries, adventurers, and Grand Company veterans. The only thing that binds us together is some vague oath about fighting for the freedom of all. That and a steady pay. Now, compared to most others in this crew, Wildret's a fresh-faced novice, the bleeding whelp among wolves. But the boy's got passion. When he talked about being a guardian of Eorzea, he bloody well meant it. A lad like him wouldn't rob us blind and bugger off like that. He ain't the type. And then, and this is just between you and me, mind, then there's the fact that the lad wanted to tell me about something queer he'd noticed in the ledgers. Something about the Braves' numbers not adding up. There's a villain at the end of this trail I've stumbled on, and I'll bet me good eye it ain't young Wildred. And he wrote, you have a war to wage, so I'll let you get on. I just thought someone should know. I'll be seeing you, Brick. Oh, that's not Benoit Blanc. I cannot do a Benoit Blanc. It takes Daniel Craig to do a voice that is so... so out there. Oh, good lord. That is a... That's a fancy mount. So, Ishgard seeks sellswords to bolster its ranks, eh? Though I'm not sure I like the sound of this siege, those nobles will surely be generous with their rewards. But I've pledged myself to guard Revenant's Toll. Modest work though it is, I'm loath to break the terms of my contract. What to do? Hello. Sell my blade to these guardians? Well, them dragons a fearsome lot, but I'd slay me a fair share if the coin was good. I've worked for one of them knights before, you know. Watched me like a bloody hawk, you did. Still, I'd put up with worse for that heavy a purse. I refuse to give them, like, I think they want them to have, like, British accents, and I just refuse to give them the satisfaction. You will have terrible cartoon southerners, and you will like it.
Volunteer my services in the defense of Ishgard? I think not. Dragons claims the lives of every one of my brothers. I do not mean to offer them mine. 'Twas to escape such a fate that I took up the mantle of adventurer in the first place. I would sooner die in the pursuit of fortune than huddled behind an icy wall.
I got 2. How did you do?
There you are, Brick. So, did you sway any hearts? 1 or 2, eh? Oh, well, added to mine, that makes 3 or 4. Not including slap points, friends. We're one of the largest company in the army, but I'd say 1 Revenant's Toll veteran is worth a dozen clanking knights at least. Oh, I've been so caught up with the recruiting that I almost forgot. There's been a word from Alphino. Apparently the Alliance leaders are convening in Ul'dah to discuss Ishgard's plight. And they've requested your presence, as usual. Anyway, you'd best make your way down to Ul'dah. You'll be late. Alphino said that he'll meet you on the Royal Promenade.
So yeah, the Heavensward trailer, I haven't seen it, I don't think. Well, it's not impossible that I actually might have seen it, because, like, maybe it got retweeted on Twitter or something back when that's pretty cool. Back when it came out and I saw it. I don't know, but I don't remember anything of it. I can tell you that much.
My apologies for calling you away from your tasks, but I'd hoped to proceed with these negotiations one leader at a time, but it seems my urgent request for an audience have prompted a gathering of the Council. Needless to say, I felt obliged to attend. The Alliance leaders are already seated within. Let us join them, shall we?
We are well aware of Ishgard's dilemma, and we agree with your assessment.
Then I trust there are no objections to the Crystal Braves' intervention.
Ul'dah has none.
Gridania does not object.
The Crystal Braves are yours to command, Alphino. Do what you will. We shall pray for your success.
Huh. You can see the lower frame rate in the reflections on the table to save on processing power.
It was my hope that you would offer more substantial aid than prayer. I know it is within your means.
Alphino, diplomacy, kid. Just like, it costs nothing to be polite, at least to start with.
Do not presume that you have knowledge of our every concern. The Garleans and the Beast Tribes are but two of many. We are not in a position to contribute greatly to the defense of Ishgard, not when our own homes are still under siege.
We dare not leave our interests in Cartano undefended as well. Telegi Adalegi and his ilk would seize control of the territories in our absence.
The enemy is at their gates, and you would cower behind yours?
He's really, really bad at this.
No one is cowering, boy. We will offer what support we can.
Aye, support. A handful of men and no more.
Would that we could commit more than a token force to this cause. Yet there are others to whom you might turn. The free companies ever want for work.
Ah, yes. The free companies. They're not like to turn you down.
I beg your pardon? You would entrust the survival of Ishgard to sell swords?
Alphino, we're sell swords. Like most of the Crystal Braves are sell swords. Did you not have... Child!
Crises like these are the very reason why this alliance was formed. It is our duty to aid our fellow man.
My duty is to my country and my people. If you expect us to place the welfare of a foreign power above our own, you're going to be sorely disappointed. Lest you doubt, Limsa comes first, then the Alliance, and finally, circumstances permitting, Ishgard and the rest. If you cannot understand so simple a concept, then you have no place at this table.
Yeah, get his ass.
Forgive me, Admiral. I was careless in my choice of words.
Yeah, you were very 16 about it. They're remarkably understanding.
To assemble a party of elite adventurers, assuming you haven't already. Your fellows served us well during Operation Archon. I dare say they will do so again. If I may, Your Grace, I wish to propose a redistribution of forces. If we entrust the security of Uldar to the Brass Blades for a time, we can dispatch a larger force to Ishgard. Your Grace?
Yes. Yes, of course. Do what you will.
That probably isn't foreshadowing anything.
Is Her Grace not feeling well?
To the best of my knowledge, Her Grace is in perfect health.
That was not the question you were asked.
I see. Carry on.
Once again, I owe you an apology. It seems you've been conscripted into leading a contingent of adventurers on yet another mission of inestimable danger. But I fear we have been left with little alternative. We cannot well abandon Lord Orshafon and Sir Emmerich to their fate. We must abide by the Council's decision, as short-sighted as it is, and strive to fulfill our roles as the Eorzea's guardians.
Alfino, they were being entirely reasonable.
Captain Ilbert, what news? Then the assault has begun. We have but this moment concluded our audience with the Alliance leaders. Move our forces into position. Your unit will join Hars Durandare at the Steel Vigil. Man the cannons alongside the knights and thin the Dravanian horde ere they descend upon Ishgard. I will join you as soon as I'm able. Brick, I would have you and your adventurer allies bolster the defenses of the Steps of Faith. Report first to Sir Marceline at the Gates of Judgment, and he will direct you to where you're needed the most. May the gods grant us victory.
Oh no! Hi, sorry, I'm just going to interrupt the game for a second here to tell you that Jane, my lovely editor who makes these episodes so nice, has written a book with their wife Laura Kate Dale called Who Hunts the Whale. It's a satirical novel about working in the games industry, exploring the absurd realities of working in AAA games development, the strange and disheartening issues that burn people out, and even what might possibly be done about them. It comes out on February 16th, and if you need something to read, hey, I recommend it. Anyway, back to Eorzea. Of course, for those in the know on the stream, this means that the episode is about to come to an end. So if you want to see what happens next, well, you're going to have to subscribe. You're going to have to like and comment. You're going to have to do those things. The stream goes on, fortunately. And if you want to watch those, you can head on over to twitch.tv/tvskyn and subscribe there for the full VODs of stuff that happens in between the episodes as well. But if you want to watch the episodes on YouTube, and if you want to watch them early before everyone else gets access to them with the excellent editing from my dear editor, you will have to become a member of the channel, because that gives you early access. And I think that's all of the self-promotion that I'm supposed to do, so thank you very much for watching. Remember to be kind to one another, have solidarity with those who are worse off than yourselves, and may the tides of history wash gently over us all.